when a karmic account comes before us, when my karmic account comes before me, then I have to be very stable and steady. Now, how do you know something is a karmic account? So, if something has come to attract you or scare you, that's a karmic account. So, if you feel good or bad about something which has come up for the first time, then you must know that it's a karmic account. When there is no karmic account, you feel neutral about things. So when they attract you, they repulse you, it's a karmic account. I'll share one experience with you. So there's this one brother, and he was telling me that there was a deal that they had to sign in business, and he said it was a too good deal, and then it was happening very fast and everything was like aligned, and I felt like this is Baba's grace, and I got too happy and I didn't read the documents properly. And then I fell into a trap. So you see that when you feel something is too good, then you must know that it's a karmic account. When you feel something is too bad, that's also a karmic account. So first things first, when something feels too good, too bad, what do you do about it? You first come to a place where you feel neutral about it. So you understand that it's okay. It's okay if it works out, it's okay if it doesn't work out. You have to come to that place where you know that you are with Baba and that is enough, and whatever happens is just drama. So you don't have to be attracted by anyone or anything. You don't have to be repulsed by anyone or anything. So when a karmic account comes up, just remember Baba and come to this place where you're very properly anchored inside. And then what happens is that whole shadow on your buddhi, which was cast by that situation or behavior, that shadow is removed. And you can see everything and everyone for what they really are. And this is very, very important. And then when you see something as it is, because you see, mostly when you're in body consciousness, you either diminish something or you magnify something. Yes, so let's say there's a disease in the body and then it needs to be treated. But then you are in this false ego that I'm God's child and Baba will take care of the disease and I don't need to go to see the doctor. So that's also, that's also body consciousness. and you have to clear your head and see everything and everyone for what it is and what it needs. You don't have to be in fear, because anyways you have to leave the body, so why fear? But in this body you have to create your Sangam Yogi karma. So then when you remove the fear, when you know that I'm okay with everything, and then you look at the condition of the body, then you understand that it needs this treatment, or it has to, this has to be given to it, or this much of it, this much you need to attend to it. So there is this whole thing about diminishing and magnifying things, because when you're attracted to something, you don't look at the risks, so you just diminish them in your head, that it's okay and nothing will happen. But if there is a possibility, there is a risk, then you have to take care of it. So these are things, and this is a matter of discernment. Nobody can exactly tell you what are the risks or what are the good things about something. But when you are in a neutral state, you get a true feeling of what is what. And that is a very priceless ability. And then when you look at something as it is, and you know what is the risk or what is the profit in it, and then you want to deal with it, you want to take the profit without falling into the trap of Maya, or you want to take the risk you want to deal with the problem without falling into the trap of fear, then you need Baba's help. And Baba says that I'm always with you. So nothing is a big deal for you. If it is something good also, it's not a big deal for you. It's not too good. It's just good, and you can take that opportunity and create something out of it. So your head is clear of the attraction, and you understand it's an opportunity. It's a good opportunity to make something, and you make something of it. If your head is clear of the fear, then you know that this has to be dealt with, so you deal with it. So Baba says, for that you need power. To encash an opportunity or to deal with an unfavorable situation, you need power. And who is more powerful than the child of the Almighty? So Baba says, you take my help and you settle that account, or you take benefit of a positive account that you have. So Baba says that it is very important to be in this stable, neutral state and respond to situations or encash opportunities in a very level-headed way, taking help from Baba and taking support from Baba, step by step taking guidance from Baba. So when you are anchored within, and the sign of a good yogi is you talk to Baba a lot. So you are introverted and you think things through. You are not overthinking something, you're thinking it through, keeping Baba with you. And when you do that, then you take full advantage of a good situation. You handle a bad situation very well, and then you come out with flying colors. So this is what Baba says today. And it is very important to become a yogi. So, when you're attracted by something, when you're repulsed by something, or fear has overtaken you, attraction has taken over you, then your buddhi yoga with Baba is snapped. And then your buddhi yoga is with the situation. And mostly in case of situations which trigger fear in you, then the situation has taken over your whole intellect, and then you cannot take help from Baba. You cannot be free from that fear, and you cannot deal with that situation accurately. So then you just struggle. You try to remember Baba, but you only remember the situation. It also happens in the case of attraction. You're trying to remember Baba, but you're too happy to remember Baba. So you cannot remember Baba when you're too happy, too fearful, too sad. You can only remember Baba when you're stable and steady and peaceful. So it's very important that first you discern, that when your heart has started racing, when your BP has shoot up and you're feeling goosebumps, or you're feeling scared and all your muscles are tightening. So just relax. Tell yourself that it's okay. It's just a karmic settlement. And don't get too happy, too sad, too afraid in this. And just come to this place where you know that nothing can benefit me, nothing can put me in loss. I am a soul. So when you come to this neutral state, when you calm yourself down, then you can take help from Baba. And when you take help from Baba, then you take the right decisions which you don't repent later. If you rush too fast into something, or you are trying to run away from something, then both these methods don't work. So this is what Baba says. And then Baba today says, hand over all the burden of your responsibilities to me and be double light. Now, I think, the bigger subject in this thing is, what is my responsibility? Because I think that most of the problems in life are there because you don't know how to draw the line about what is your responsibility and what is not your responsibility. Yes, so what is your burden to carry and what is not your burden to carry? So I think that is the more crucial subject here. And you see that when we are body conscious, we are attached. We are attached to the body, we are attached to people, we are attached to things, we are attached to roles, responsibilities, and then you are always overdoing it. Yes, so it's your responsibility to keep the body clean, keep it healthy. But how do you carry that responsibility? By eating right, exercising right, yes, or by taking bath and keeping your body clean. But if you're worrying too much about health, is that the way to carry your responsibility? If you're worrying too much about your health and not doing enough, is that really taking responsibility of the body? Because you see, most people are worrying about things that can happen and they don't want that to happen. But that is not your responsibility. What will happen will happen. So you can do, what is your responsibility is what you can do about it. If you can't do something about something, that's not your responsibility. So we are carrying a lot of burden of this body by worrying too much about physical health. And I remember there was this one brother, and he said, I want to ensure that I will always be healthy. So I said, that you cannot do. So I said, so he said, in the face of that, I always will keep worrying. So I said, you do that, no problem. But that will neither help you nor will it guarantee what you are trying to do. So, Baba always says that, be Trikal Darshi. Now we understand many aspects of being Trikal Darshi. One aspect of being Trikal Darshi is also that when you have a problem and you are finding a solution to it and you are dealing with it in a certain way, then you have to think whether it is actually being dealt or not. Because what we are doing in situations, so let's say there is a situation where I feel that the body can get unwell. So what is the solution to it? I am not ensuring that I eat well, exercise well, but what I am doing is worrying about it. So I have to think whether worrying is actually the solution to the problem that I am facing. Because mostly, see, when a child is not being obedient, you shout at them, you beat them up, you're scolding them, but you think that you are finding a solution, but are you really? In the long term, is that the solution? Yes, or when you are caught in a trouble, then you are just shifting the blame on somebody. So, is that the solution? Because today you are in trouble because you did something in the past and now you are shifting your burden to somebody else, and that person is feeling sorrow because of that. So, tomorrow that sorrow will come back to you. So, is that really coming out of the problem? So, this is why you have to understand that you are not solving a problem by worrying about it. And when you are thinking too much about something, it will change into worry. So you have to know what is your responsibility and what is not. Ensuring health is not your responsibility. Doing what you can for the body is your responsibility. Yes. Now you see, when you are attached to your sense organs also, what are you doing? You want to quench the thirst of your eyes, you want to quench the thirst of your ears, you want to quench the thirst of your taste buds, you want to quench the thirst of your sexual desires. So everybody is trying to do that. Now, can you really quench the thirst of these organs? Because these organs are insatiable. So, just like take the example of itching. When there is itching somewhere and you itch, then what happens? You feel relief for some time. But then does it get better or worse? It gets worse, and then again it will itch more. And you itch until there's blood coming out of it. But then still that wound is not healed or the problem doesn't go. It keeps itching again. So what do you have to do? You have to control your urge to itch when it itches. Similarly, these sense organs are like that itching. Yes, your eyes will want to see something, your ears will want to hear something, your mouth will itch, your physical organs, they are all itching all the time. But what you have to do is relax and be patient. Yes, don't give in to those demands. And that's the only way you can become free from that urge of the sense organs. But what do? We do the opposite, because you think it's your responsibility to quench the thirst of the sense organs. But can you really quench the thirst of the insatiable? No, you can't. So that's why, I remember there was this thing about, um, when as a child I used to tell my father, my Lokik father, I feel like going here, I feel like going there. Then my father used to say, talk to your feelings and tell them you can't go there. So, so I used to find that very funny, and I used to tell him, why should I talk to my feelings? I'm talking to you, you take me there. So he used to tell him, no, you talk to your feelings and tell them you can't go there, so stop feeling like that. So, so you see that this is how you have to tell yourself, because if you think it's your responsibility that you're having this feeling, this desire, and you have to run after it and satisfy it, then you are carrying a burden which is not actually your burden, and which you can't carry, which is impossible to carry. Then you see, with relationships also, this is with regard to the body, and with regard to the mind also, there's an urge that my mind should be peaceful, and my mind is feeling like this and thinking like this, and I have to stop it. No, you detach yourself from the mind. You don't get attached to the mind. You don't take responsibility for calming the mind. You know that you are a soul, your mind is your organ. So you, the soul, are peaceful, and when you stabilize yourself in peace, the mind will gradually be peaceful. So you know that despite the mind wandering, you are a soul and you are peaceful, and you're just watching the mind as a detached observer. You are not perturbed by the disturbance of the mind. So it's not your responsibility to calm the minds. It's your responsibility to detach from the responsibility of calming the mind. So just, know that I'm a soul, I'm fine. Let the mind do its thing, and it's not going anywhere. And when you don't engage, the mind becomes silent. So these are responsibilities that we are carrying which are not our responsibilities. And then with regard to relationships, you see, I have seen parents whose children, they took care of their children, they took care of them when they were adults, and they are taking care of their children also right now. Yes, they are taking care of the grandchildren also. And the thing is, it's all their responsibility. Now, why is it your responsibility? Why is the grandchild your responsibility? Yes, were your children the responsibility of your in-laws or parents? No, you raised your children, so why can't they raise their children? And why do we have to take the burden of everyone and each member of the family? Whether somebody has eaten, somebody has not eaten, why are they not eating, what is wrong with them? You see, my responsibility is to cook, offer bhog, and keep that ready for somebody to eat. But if somebody is not eating it, then yes, I can tell them that it's there and you can eat. But why am I fretting and getting disturbed because somebody is not eating? Yes, so will that feed your stomach when they eat it? So it is all because of attachment that you're taking so much burden. you're creating so many emotions, you're creating so much worry. And you see, when a child is little, they cannot eat on their own. It's your responsibility to feed them. But when the child is an adult, is it your responsibility to feed them? And after an age, is it even your responsibility to cook for them? Yes? Okay, if it's a system where they earn, you cook, all that is fine. That's just an arrangement, but it's not your responsibility. It's not like if you don't cook, they go hungry and that is your sin. It's nothing like that. They are very capable of cooking themselves now. So you have to understand that, or if somebody shares with you a problem, then it's your responsibility as a soul, as a spiritual teacher, to guide them. But worrying about what they are worrying about, that's not your responsibility. Yes, so most of the time, what are we doing? We don't even know the problem, but we are worrying about what they are worrying about. So, and if you think that the child is a teenager or they don't understand, then you can talk to them, you can ask them. But if you keep worrying about it, then that's not your burden to carry, because every person is responsible for themselves. And you have to teach them that if you want help, ask for it. If you want help, come and talk to me. And if you don't want help, then nobody can help you. So these are things that we have to teach others and not take that burden on ourselves. So we are taking too much burden in case of relationships also. So Baba says that is not your burden to carry. Now what is your responsibility actually? So you see, your responsibility is carrying the duties that you have in the house, or because the house is a system, it is kind of a trade-off. One person does something, another person does something else. So doing your part is your responsibility. When you go to an office, your work is your responsibility. And other than that, if you have children, little children, they are your responsibility until they grow up and they can, they are physically and mentally in a state where they can take care of themselves. And then you have to leave them, even animals leave their children, to fend for themselves. And human beings, what are we doing to our children? We are not leaving them. We are not leaving them until their old age. We are not leaving them until we die. So that's not your responsibility. You are doing it all unnecessarily. So your only responsibility is your housework, your office work, and little children until they grow up. And after that, and you see, if somebody is cooking for you and you are earning for them, then that's your responsibility. You earn and give them because they are also handling things for you. So that's a trade-off, and in that you are taking something, giving something, so that's your responsibility. But quenching somebody's vicious desires or taking care of somebody's emotional state, that's not your responsibility. If somebody is disturbed and in sorrow because you are doing something for your own sake, for your own betterment, then you think that you have to, rid them of that sorrow. That's not your responsibility at all. So these are things that you have to understand. And then Baba says, even those things that are your responsibility and your basic responsibility as a soul, what is it? Your basic responsibility is to purify yourself and help in the purification of the world by doing seva. So that's your responsibility as a soul. And Baba says, when you carry out these responsibilities, which are your responsibilities really, in that also you know that Baba is there and you don't have to take any burden. You have to understand that what you are doing is according to Baba's directions. Yes, Baba has not told us to leave little children and abandon them. Baba has not told us to leave the household, not do anything for any family member. Baba has not told us to leave the job. So, and Baba has told us to take care of ourselves spiritually and do seva. So, whatever you are doing is on Baba's direction. So, when you do something on Baba's direction, don't do it alone, because the one who has given you the direction is responsible. And even when it's a Lokik work, you're living in the family, you're doing something Lokik, you are doing a Lokik job, you're doing a Lokik, you're carrying out a Lokik responsibility, you know that you're not doing on your own. It's not like Baba has not asked you to do it and you're doing it on your own. Baba has asked you to do it. So there also you are an instrument. You are doing it on Baba's direction. And when you are doing it on Baba's directions, then Baba is giving you all the strength, help and support that you need to carry out that task. And when you know this and you take strength, help and support from Baba, then you can do everything and be very light. Prakashmani Dadiji was the chief of Brahma Kumaris from 1969 to 2007. And you think about it, it's such a big yajna. And there are so many centers, so many surrendered brothers, sisters, so many children who come to study, and the whole setup was under her management. And she carried out all that responsibility. But she was never burdened. When she went to bed, how much time did she take to fall off to sleep? 5 minutes. When she was on her bed, it will take only 5 minutes to fall off to sleep, because she was so light. She did everything in remembrance of Baba and considering herself as an instrument. So you must know that whatever you are doing is not a big deal. For the Almighty, it's a very small thing. But when you're with the Almighty, it looks like a little thing. And when you think about, I'm doing it, I have to do it, I have to finish it, then it becomes a big deal. So always think about yourself as an instrument and carry out only the duties that is your duty. And you see, the sign of being burdened is that your buddhi is pulled to something. Yes, when your buddhi is again and again pulled by someone or something, then that means you're carrying a burden. And sometimes, you're carrying a burden of some news that you heard, and you think that that's your responsibility to correct it. But Baba says that if you fulfilled your responsibility of enhancing your spiritual stage and purifying the world, then all these burdens that you're carrying will automatically finish. Because all this news is there because there is Kali Yuga. And if you purified yourself, purified the world, then it will be a new age, new world. So Baba says, most of the things that you are worried about and you can't do anything directly about will automatically solve when you take your real responsibility of staying light, doing everything in Baba's remembrance, and remembering Baba and burning your sins. So Baba says that take only the responsibility of what you can and should do in Sangam Yuga, and that too as an instrument, stay double light, and then fulfill your biggest responsibility of purifying yourself and purifying the world. Okay, Om Shanti.